Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sunshine Toyota. My name's Dan. I'm the new vehicle sales manager here. We're really excited to have you all here for our young driver information evening. We've got a little bit of information in our workshop, so we've got a couple of workstations where you'll actually go and meet the technicians. They will talk you through some basics of car maintenance, so how to check your fluids, your oils, your tyre pressures, how to change a spare tyre as well. Then we've also got the Queensland Fire Department here, so they'll talk you a bit through things like what to do in an emergency, some of the equipment they use in an emergency, and also just talk about attitudes on the road as well. We've got Senior Constable Jackie Burge from QPS from the Forensic Crash Unit, so she'll talk about RBTs, drug testings, limitations while on your Ps, and when to contact police if you've been in an accident as well. We've also got Ray from Right Turn Driving School, so he'll be here to talk to you about learning to drive and the benefits of having structured driving lessons as well. Where's mine? Wait. Where?
My name's James. Basically, we're from Nicklin Fire Station, so as you know, we've come here today just to have a chat to you. You guys are in the process of getting your licence or got it or near enough to it. Okay. Speaking from experience, it's really cool and fun to have your licence. You want to be going out doing burnouts, handbrakies, rally packing through the bush. Worst thing you can do, okay? In terms of one foul move due to inexperience is when you'll see us. When you guys see us, we'll have those. That being what you guys might know as the jaws of life. So these are the cutters and the spreaders. Once we put them on Dad's car, Dad's going to be blown up as well. So it just goes from fun to bad to worse instantly. Yep, that'll lift up 30, what did you say, 20? I thought it was 15, 20 tonne. That truck's 16 tonne. So if you could balance it right, you'd nearly be able to lift that truck up on that. Yeah, it is, it's wild. So very capable tools, very expensive, but very capable. Does anyone know how many people it will affect if you guys have a crash, regardless of the severity of the injuries? Have a guess, keep going. Keep going, have a guess. 70. Okay, so that's 70 people will be affected by one car accident. That's friends and family, emergency workers, hospital workers, okay, so 70 people. What might cause an accident outside of just wanting to do burnouts? What about today? What's the weather? Weather, yeah. What else? Tired, 100%, man. Yep, not driving to the conditions in your abilities. It's a good one, you. It's not your own skill you've got to worry about, it's having the situational awareness to know what's going on around you, okay? And that's something that you will develop over time. Attitude, trying to show off to the boys, the missus, whatever you got, and trying to impress someone. That's a massive thing as well, okay? So they're all little things to think about. Yeah, just be wary. Phones is the big one. I can't reiterate that enough. Mobile phones are the big one. You only look off the road for 2 or 3 seconds and you've gone 45 metres up the road. Okay, which is a long way and it can hurt. I'm not trying to scare you, but that's how it happens and it's what we see, okay? So we're not just trying to stop you from having fun, but we do it safely, all right? That's all we're trying to get across, isn't it? Regularly. They're one of the biggest things that the fire department go to. Yep, will be accidents. When it hasn't been raining for a while and there's all the oil on the road, within the first half an hour of it raining, all that oil will come up. And then that's sitting there. So you can't really see it, but that's what'll chuck you off. So you need to slow down because of that. And also another thing that'll spit you off the road, particularly on the Bruce Highway and those sort of things, is there's little divots in the road where the trucks go, and that'll hold water. So again, you won't see, he's probably going to an accident now, so maybe not, who knows. So there's those little things to know as well, that if it has been raining, there'll be enough water sitting in the road and the divots created by the heavy vehicles that can spit you out as well. So if you need to negotiate or adjust your driving style to suit, that's what has to happen. And there is times you'll have an accident and it's got nothing to do with you, not your fault. It's just the luck of the draw, the dog, the kangaroo, the puddle in the road, the pothole you can't see. What happens if you see flashing lights coming up behind you, whether it be coppers, ambos or us? Do you guys know what to do?
What about if you're at a red light?
If you're at a red light, what are you going to do there?
Behind you. Can you drive through it? Go straight down.
Yeah, yeah. If two cars, you just go to the left and the right. We'll just go straight up the middle.
The sea.
We'll just part the sea. That's what we call it.
Are you aware of what you can and can't do, especially on P-platers? Like there's certain rules about having passengers, and especially one of the big things is mobile phone, of what you can and can't do with mobile phones. For instance, if you have a part-time job like a Domino's pizza job, and you need the maps on your phone to direct you on to make your deliveries, on your P-plates you're not allowed to do that. Okay, you're not allowed to use your phone whatsoever. You can't do anything with that phone at all. It's basically useless, okay? It can't be touching you basically, you can't have it on your lap. So breath testing is just like blowing up a balloon. Don't go too hard and too fast because you'll run out of breath, because sometimes they take a little bit of time. So just do consistent breath with a little bit of pressure until the police officer tells you to stop. With a drug test, we also call them lick tests, because it's a stick and you stick it on the back of your tongue and drag it to the front of your tongue. Okay, so if you've got a tongue piercing, you just got to try and somehow dodge that part. They test for cannabis and methamphetamines. So if it's something that you've smoked or used, it could still be in your system for a couple of days later. So you might not have a very high reading, but if it's found to be in your blood in any way, or like as a driver in a traffic crash, because we will take your blood at the hospital, we will charge you just having the drug in your blood. It doesn't have to be a high reading, it can be just as if it's in your blood. Speed limits are speed limits. That's the maximum that you should do, okay, or by law. You can sit just under. It doesn't matter if you sit 55 in a 60 zone. Traffic coppers are around everywhere. They've got handheld guns and radars and those vans on the side of the road. They're everywhere. Some of these vans that they sit in, they do traffic both directions. People aren't aware of that. If you're involved in a traffic crash yourself, say McDonald's car park, if you're in there and you are reversing and you just slightly crash into another car, it's very minor damage, no injuries, the cars are drivable, everything's fine. Just swap details. You'll all have a phone on you, so take a photo of the other person's license. Go around the car, take a photo of any damage on your car, and take a photo of their car with all their damage, okay? So then you can then go and report it to your insurance. You don't have to report those minor things to police. But if someone is injured, especially if they're seriously injured, your first point of call is 000 and ask for an ambulance. The ambulance, the fireys and the police are all interlinked through a computer system. So the ambulance will tell the fireys and they will tell the police. So we'll all turn up, okay? So you've got to make sure that that person that's injured, they're the first person that you need to look after, okay? If you are involved in a traffic crash, whether it's your fault or not, stop and check on everyone, okay? Make sure that everyone is looked after. You've got to make sure that you render assistance where you can, because if you don't render assistance, and if you are, you may think you're at fault but you're not sure, and you panic and leave the scene, you've then committed a criminal offence and you can be charged for leaving the scene and not rendering assistance to someone. For whatever reason, someone in the other car could be bleeding and it could be quite a serious cut, but if you can just get in there and put a bit of pressure on that wound to stop it bleeding, you might actually save someone's life. So it's very simple things. If they've crashed and they go unconscious and their head's tipped forward, just tilt their head back, just gently, so they can breathe. Simple things can save lives. Try not to move too much stuff. In my role, all our evidence is gathered on the road and via the cars. So don't lie, because we will know that you're lying. A lot of the cars, they've all got airbag modules. We download those airbag modules and we can tell how fast you're travelling. We can tell if your seatbelt was on. We can tell if you put your foot on the brake. We can sometimes tell you what gear you're in, okay? So we know. There's things that we know and things that we can work out just by evidence in a crash scene. If any emergency services vehicles are coming up behind you, any of us, the three, any of the fireys or the ambos or the police, safely pull to your left. Don't brake heavy, because you can run the risk of us running into the back of you. That's why we try and keep a bit of a safe distance from everyone. But slow down, indicate, and just slowly move off and come to a stop. Wait till we pass you and then you can safely go back out. If the police are intercepting you, it could just be for a breath test or a drug test or a licence check. If the police pull up behind you with their lights and sirens on, once again, Slowly brake, indicate and pull off to the side. Make sure where you pull off is wide enough that you can fit your car off the side of the road, okay? If it's not safe, just slowly keep crawling until we find a safer spot to park. That's all you have to do, and sit there and wait. So the females, make sure that, you know, there's a police car following you and it's not a marked police car. Could be could be something that looks like this, and there's like red and blues up in the sun visor. They pull down on the passenger seat and they're on the back there, or they might be in the headlights. If you're not really sure if it's a police officer or not, keep your windows up and your car locked, but try and pull in underneath a headlight or something. They'll all have, not all police officers are in uniform, but they should have a badge on them. They should have some ID and they should be able to show it to you. If you're still unsure if they're police officers or whatever, you ring 000 and you say, I've got a police officer here. I don't know if they're police officers. You're not going to get in trouble. None of that at all. But you just got to be aware of your own safety. When we say speeding, it doesn't mean you're breaking the speed limit, not doing 150 and 100 zone. It might be an 80 zone and you might be doing 80, but it might be wet, you know, so, or there's sun in your eyes. So you're not driving to the conditions. So the faster you travel, the bigger the impact. You could be the best driver in the world, but you could come across another driver that's not, and they crash into you and they've seriously injured you, and that you're affected for the rest of your life. So simple things can happen, just wrong time, wrong place kind of situation. You know, you could do everything right but still get hit by another car. There's a new law that came out last year. So if you see an emergency services vehicle on the side of the road, say the police have intercepted a car, the law is that you must slow down to 40 and emerge over to the furthest, like the inside lane, away from the police officer. Don't go slamming on your brakes to get down to 40 because you will cause a crash. Do your best to slow down, and if you can't merge over because there's other traffic in that lane, it doesn't matter. Just try and slow down. It's for the safety of the police officer, and it's also for the safety of the people that they've pulled over. Most minor things can cause crashes and a lot of damage, and lifelong damage, so lifelong effects.
Okay, good evening. My name's Ray. First thing we're going to talk about is a few road rules that have changed over the years and people may not be aware of. So with a stop sign, what is the road rule for stop signs? We come to a stop sign and stop. How long do we stop for? Yes, there's no 3-second wait at a stop sign anymore. You bring the vehicle to a complete stop and obey the giveaway rules. That's it. So you stop, it's clear to go, you go straight away. If you come to a roundabout and you are going to continue straight through, do you indicate as you approach and do you indicate off? The road rule states, when exiting a roundabout, where practicable, and I've never seen anywhere it's not practicable, you must indicate when exiting, no matter which direction you are taking. If you drive just from home to school and back, and home to work and back, you'll get really good at driving to school and back and home and work and back. But if you go out onto different areas, you might struggle. So what's called wide learning experience is driving in different areas, driving in different cars with different people, different times of day, different road conditions, different weather.
G'day guys, I'm Riley. I work at Toyota here. Alrighty, who's had a flat tyre before? You have a couple people. So does anyone know what you do when you get a flat tyre? What are the safety things you do before you start changing it? The first thing you do is you pull over. Obviously you don't want to be driving on it. Once you know it's there, drive off the side of the road immediately. Pull over to the flattest surface and then you pull over to turn your hazards on to let other people know that you're pulled over and that there's something wrong. And does anyone know where the spare's normally kept in smaller SUVs? Yep, in the back. So you normally have what's called a space saver back there. In your newer cars, you have a space saver. You got your tools here. You got your towing bar. If you're stuck in the mud or something, there's a little circle cap here. You take that off and screw this in, and then you can get someone to pull you out if you're stuck in the mud. And then you got your two tools to take off your wheels. You got your socket, then your bar. You get this, so just crack all the nuts. So lefty loosey, righty tighty. Can anyone tell me how many jacking points there are normally on a car? 4, yes. So you normally have 2 at the front, 2 at the back. You can normally identify these jacking points is where there's a little fold of metal. And then you can lift it up or righty-tighty the other way. So once it hits the chassis, you grab your tool here, you grab your bar, and then hook it into there. Then you grab your socket. Yep, just like that. Now with your space saver tyre, they are a lot skinnier than your other tyres, but they are the exact same size diameter wise. So then, but you won't be able to drive them for long because you want to try and not use it as much as possible. They do have a speed rating of 80 kilometres an hour. So if you do have to use your space saver, try and book it if it's during the day, book it in with your nearest dealership or your nearest tyre shop as soon as possible. When you do take your tyre off, you want to always lift with your legs, don't lift with your back. You don't want any back injuries, not ideal. It'll be really bad. So I find it easier to grab the rim here.
Who's lost?
I find it easier to just grab the rim and just pull it off and let it bounce on the ground. Perfect. So you've taken off a flat tyre. Time to put it back on. And so what you do is get down on the ground and try and line up the holes with the studs. That's it. Try and have your foot hold down there constant. And then grab your nuts and try and just do them back hand tight. So you grab this. You want to have it try and face it that way. And then use your legs and lift up. Just like that. Keep going till it's tight. Normally once it does start to get tight, I like to say like, you are tight, and try and just pull. And yep, go in your star pattern while you're there. Yep.
Alright, so I'm just going to go over some general maintenance stuff to look for between long drives and just general scheduled services. So you just got your fluid, so your brake fluid, your washer fluid, your coolant, and your oil. In other cars you might have power steering fluid, but this is all electric. So what you do, let's pull the dipstick out, give it a wipe so it's clean, chuck it back in, pull it out. So your level should be between the two dots. And this is what clean oil should look like, so it's a nice golden colour. Your coolant reservoirs here, you can get different colours, so you can get red, pink, blue, purple and green, I believe. Don't mix the different colours because they have different additives for different brands of vehicles and different parts. On the side, there's a min and max line. You should fill it up between the lines or just under max, because when the car gets hot, the level will rise. And if you have it at max, it might overflow. Your brake fluid also has a min and max line on the side. You don't have to look at that every time you top up your oil or your coolant. That's more, we change that between in the designated intervals. But keep an eye on it as well, because if it's dropping a lot, then it might have a leak, so you might have to get that, have a look at. If you're topping up your oil caps just next should be near the dipstick. Your washer fluid is located differently in every single vehicle, but it should always have the little windscreen wiper and a little watermark. You just put water in it until it tops it up. If you've gone on long road trips, you should probably add an additive, like a specific additive, not like dishwashing liquid or anything like that, into it, to get like the bugs, just little marks, dirt off your windscreen, so you can actually see where you're going and have decent visibility. Another thing, in a normal car, the battery is somewhere located in here in different spots, but since this is a hybrid, it's located in the boot. Some are located in the back seat or front seats, but most of them, I think most Toyotas anyway, are located in the boot. If a battery dies, just a specific battery, does anyone know how to jump start with another vehicle? Yeah, so usually get jump leads if your friend is kind enough to drive out to you. Jumper leads, so you want to get red, which is positive, and black. So red on positive, negative on negative on the dead battery. But with the new battery or the car that runs, you want to put red on the positive and the negative on just a ground. So you don't want to directly put it onto the battery negative because it can arc, it can spark, it can do not good stuff. So put it on ground, which is literally any metal surface in the engine bay. And start the car first with working battery and then start the dead car. And if you need fuel or going home, don't turn it off straight away. Leave it running for maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You can go for a drive or just leave it running so the alternator can charge the battery enough so when you turn it off and you come back later and you turn it back on, it has enough juice to turn over the engine. I think you were just over with Riley and had a look at a placard, but they always should be in the driver's door. So different cars, 4Bs, cars like this should have different PSIs. It also reads KPA if Riley didn't tell you, but we read PSI. KPA's in the States, I believe. So this is the standard PSI if you want the balance between comfort and like good tire wear. But if you want to run a bit firmer, you can go higher PSI, but just keep in mind with the higher PSI, it'll weigh your tire in the center here more than the edges.
I'd just like to say a big thank you to the people that obviously make this happen. So to the guys and the girls from the Queensland Fire Department and QPS as well. I'm not sure if Senior Constable Jackie's still here. Yes, thank you as well. And thanks to our marketing team, Alyssa and Candice, for putting it all together as well. And of course, Ray, for your guidance as well and teaching some road rules to people. So some new road rules. And thank you all for attending.